Friends, family, fans. It's another freaking episode of Back Nine Bets, episode 51, the Zimmer Framer. Can't tell you exactly where that name came from, but it's got to do with one of the outrights we're betting this week. An old guy, hunched over his putter, that pretty much could use a Zimmer frame if you looked at him walk around the golf course. So that's the title. I don't even know if he's a Zimmer frame Hall of Famer. The guy could actually easily be in the Hall of Fame for golf, quite easily based off of his career earnings. And that's why we're picking him to win this week. It is the Honda Classic. We're out in Florida, Palm Gardens, somewhere out there, pretty much on the coast. It's a West Coast exit. We're going to the East Coast now. It's Back Nine Bets, episode 51, presented by Rollerballer. If you're not following Rollerballer, you're not part of the Rollerballer team, and you're looking to join a site, come and join us at rollerballer.com, folks, /radio. Go grab yourself 50% off all the different sports, or just use code Maniac for the PGA stuff. We've got baseball coming in. We've got MLB. It's the same thing. We've got NBA. We've got all other stuff at Rotoballer. We've got optimizers. We've got the tools. We've got my articles. We've got Spencer's articles. We've got Joe's articles. All the freaking articles, podcasts, tools, optimizers. It's what you want. Even the Discord. Come join us in the Discord. It's been pretty fun chatting with everybody about the showdown stuff that we get up to once our week-long lineups are dead. So I'm sure you're part of the bang. It's not often that you have a good set of lineups going into the weekend. So showdown is often there to keep you sane and give you a little bit more of a sweat once all your stuff has been burnt to the ground. So that's what's cooking over there at rotoballer.com. Use code Maniac if you want to join. And come be a Rotoballer with us. It's the Honda Classic. Let's dive into it. This week's going to be chaotic, folks. It's going to be chaotic. Let's pull up some Wind Finder here. I want to show y'all what the theory is this week. It's going to be Chalk City. It's going to be chaos. People are going to be very popular. But if you take a look here, it doesn't necessarily look like there's that much wind. But that can change quite easily. Okay. There's 15 holes of water, 27 chances you can hit it in the water. There's shit everywhere, hazards everywhere. It can go south. But before we get there, I just have to vent 2 seconds. In 12 hours' time, I'm flying to Hawaii, okay? And this is Waikiki Beach. This is where I'm going. Looks fine, right? I land there on Wednesday evening, and then we're getting 24-mile-per-hour winds for the next 4 days once I land. So I'm salty. I've been driving and going hard at the paint to try and just get through this week so I could go enjoy myself some Hawaii-ness. No. 25-mile-per-hour winds out there. I might as well just stay in Iowa. The weather's better here. What is going on in this world? So anyway, I'm a little deflated. Times are tough for your boy. Can't just catch a good break on the weather there, even in my personal life, never mind on the golf course. But it is what it is. Enough being salty, just had to get that out the way. In case you notice that I'm a little down in the dumps and trying to check for some energy. Last week, Max Homer, John Rahm, just quite couldn't get it done. 22-1, Max Homer, Willie Z finished fourth. We were all over this card. No dice. John Rahm ruins everything. Tom Kim doesn't know how to play golf anymore. Tommy Fleetwood was my one and done. Only 3 people out of the 700 people in Rick Run Good's one and done had Tommy Fleetwood. He decided to lose strokes over the weekend after being inside the top 10. That hurt. Just, so I need a weekend. I need to unplug. I need to get myself to Hawaii ASAP. That's why we got the get up, got the Jets Hawaii hat. We got the Hawaii shirt I bought on my honeymoon. Times are good. We did make decent headway into making progress on the placement side of things. We hit 2 out of our 5 and lost a quarter of 25 cents if you were betting the breaking 100 thing. I can't remember exactly how it breaks out here, but we basically net washed our placements. So we're moving in the right direction. Matt Kuchar cash for us and Tommy Fleetwood cash for us for the top 40s. So things are good there. Let's take a look at what we're going to be dealing with this week. Now, this week for DFS, the theme is pivot your face off. That's what you want to be doing. Pivot your freaking face off. Go hard at the paint when it comes to ownership. We don't know what's going to happen this week. If you're watching on a laptop, if you're watching on a phone, take a look at the device that you're watching on right now and know that the size of that thing could be the difference between hitting your third shot or your fourth shot or your second shot or your third shot, or in certain cases, your second or fourth shot. You might even have to re-tee based off a lucky bounce that's as wide as your freaking iPhone. Anything can happen this week. It's chaos. Pivot your freaking face off. That being said, find some pivots that make sense. Don't just pivot to anybody. So, at this venue, we've got ourselves a casual approach play that's 3% more popular than, or more correlatory than tour average. Big time approach play. Obviously, tons of water around the greens. Got to be able to hit those greens. Putting, kind of important. Normal. Off the tee stuff and distance, 5% less than tour average. Not looking for long drivers of the ball. Yeah, not looking for booming drives. Even accuracy off the tee isn't that essential. We've got a different category we're going to be using for off the tee metrics. Strokes gained off the tee on par 70s, par 71s, less than 7,200 yards. That's what we're looking for. We're going to be using that in our model. We'll see that in a little bit. So around the green plays, also 2% more important than normal. Bunkers, rough, big greens, tricky greens, fast greens, water around it, just it's chaos. So around the green play, accurate driving essentially on those kind of fairways. Approach play, key. What about the approach play is the most important? 64% of shots come from 125 to 200. That's a casual what? 10% more than tour average from that range. So it's going to be just rinse and repeat. Hopefully not rinsing too much with the golf ball there. Just repeating more so than anything else for the guys that we betting on. So that's what's cooking there. Here's the model settings. Model settings, 27% 2023 stats, 73% still for 2022. Course history is quite predictive. Typically, even though there's a lot of water, the guys that play well here tend to do it more often than not. But we know anything is capable of happening here. So don't take course history as like gospel. People can, like Sanjay M, land up missing the cut like he did last year. Stats, all the stats you see here, 70% of that. Official world golf ranking in a small field like this is important. It kind of separates some guys and gives you a decent feel for where things are going. And then just recent form for 5% there. Approach play, lots of that, 44% total approach. Key proximity numbers from 125 to 200, as we've always mentioned. Bogey avoidance rate, 11% total weighting here. We want a lot of that. And then we got 7% total. We got 14% total driving, but 7% of that is specific driving off the tee on those shorter courses, par 70, par 71s. Around the green play, 15%, blah, blah, blah. So, got a little bit of Bermuda putting in here as well. That's what's cooking. So, let's get into it. Here's the model. Bang. Let's get right into the business, the thick end, the back end of things. Sanjay M, sitting at 34% ownership. Some places have him at 38, some places have him 29. We're going to tell you it's 34. He's the best golfer in the field. He's got one of the best course histories here. It's the fourth best course history. The dogs are barking. He's been playing the best out of everybody coming into the tournament. He plays very good golf on medium events when the conditions get tricky. He also plays the best golf on hard golf courses when it comes to that kind of stuff. And this is a hard golf course, but we're definitely using medium events this week because the field's so shit. Not a lot of these people have even played in majors. Ben Griffin, I don't think, has played in a major. I'm not even sure. Robbie Shelton hasn't played in a major. So like we've got all these people that are towards the bottom of the board. That's not going to grade out well for them because hard golf courses are. Phoebe, no. We've got no dogs, got no course history on these hard courses. Okay, Phoebe's causing crap for us. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, folks. It's bit of chaos. The missus is out and about. She's running some errands before we go off to Hawaii. So deal with it, please. So that's what's cooking. We want guys that are playing on medium courses because they play them more often. That's what I was trying to get at you. We don't want any distance, accuracy, and good drives gained because I want to show you something quite quickly here before we even get into anything. Where the hell is this guy? Here we go. Benny On. Okay. If you take a look at Benny On's driving, he has got the worst accuracy and the worst good drives gain percentage you can find. But when it comes to these specialized off the tee stats, he's got the 8th best in the field. And he plays really well at this course. Take a look at Benny On's course history. It's the 2nd best in the field. So we're going to rely on this specific off the tee numbers here. Over the last 50 rounds, not a lot of them have 50 rounds in them, but at least a bunch of them have 20. If there was less than 12, I divided it by that fraction. So it would be times 1 divided by 12 to get a number. So it'll go closer to 0 the less rounds you have on these courses, just so it's fair. That's what I'm telling you, some behind the stuff there. Let's freaking get to the guys here. So the par 5 scoring for Sungjae, also best in the field. The ball striking's been sensational. He didn't play very well last week. He doesn't necessarily like that course that much. That's okay. He's a popular play this week. Couldn't get to him betting anything. It's just unfortunate. Like, I was looking forward to betting him, looking forward to playing him. If we're going to pivot our face-off, Sungjae at 34%, maybe we can be part of the 2/3 of the field that doesn't have Sungjae and he misses the cut again. Who the heck knows what happens this week? So we're going to definitely pivot off of him, even though he's a fantastic play. Theme of the podcast: pivot your freaking face-off. Now, maybe find a matchup with Sungjae in it. That might be better, but I think the matchup is against Shane Lowry and he's minus 150. So that doesn't even make sense. So Sungjae is pretty much unbettable, unplayable, the whole shebang. That's what's cooking with Sungjae. Shane Lowry, also great course history. Should have won. He was very unlucky to be part of that freaking weather last week or last year. Guess what? We had Daniel Berger blow his 5-shot lead at this freaking venue last year in his final round. And we had him in one and done. And then he tried to hit the green in the monsoon, hit it in the water, finished 4th instead of finishing like 2nd or 3rd. So that hurt. It is what it is. Where the hell's Daniel Berger these days? Nobody even knows. Check Instagram. Maybe you'll find him on there. So Shane Lowry, also hard and medium courses. The guy loves that. The weighted proximity numbers suits his game profusely well over here. He hasn't necessarily been playing that well. Can Shane Lowry win an event like this that's a crapshoot? Can he win an event that's got barely any good golfers in it? Can he win on American soil? That is the question. And 23% of people in this field believe he can. We don't. And we're going to be pivoting our freaking face-off. I think we're just going to fade this whole 10K range. Screw it. I almost said F it. Screw it. We're pivoting our freaking face-off. Shane Lowry hasn't been playing good enough golf for long enough to warrant 25% ownership going into this week. I'm sorry. It's just, in this kind of event, if we're going to pivot our face-off, if his ball's going to land 6 inches to the left in the water versus 6 inches to the right in the fairway or hittable, we'll take our chances. Go to Billy Horschel, who's been playing about as badly, but a little bit better than Shane Lowry. Also got as good a course history, yeah? His approach play's been pretty good, actually, all things considered. It's just been off the tee. If he can get his stuff figured out, he actually plays pretty nicely on these courses that have the shorter courses that require a little bit more accuracy. 28th in the field on these specific off the tee numbers, yeah? And then he's got fantastic around the green play. He's one of the best Bermuda putters, the whole freaking shebang. So everything about Billy Horschel screams, sign me the hell up as a pivot my face-off play. So Billy Horschel is going to be going there. The reason he's in orange is because he popped as value for a top 20 bet at plus 150. Now, when it comes to DFS versus betting, I've mentioned this a few times on my back nine bets with guests. I am very conservative when it comes to making T20 plays, T40 plays, placements, matchups. We need consistency. We need to be certain about our guy. When it comes to DFS, hell freaking blow that crap out the window, folks. We don't give a crap. Sign me up for 12% Billy Horschel, who's a PGA Tour winner. Sign me up for him. Great course history. Everything we want here, apart from some really poor form on the driver heading into the week. So that's what's cooking, okay? So that's why he's orange. We're not going to bet him at plus 150. I don't think that's enough. Like this week, it's just he's not bringing it. But at 12%, let's go there. In DFS, $9,700. Aaron Wise as well. Look at this. The recent form's okay. Course history is okay. But the recent approach play is 91st in the field. The guy's irons have just not been there. Couldn't quite get there for a top 20, even though the model's suggesting we're betting for a top 20 at plus 125. Like his safety plus top 10 rating isn't even the hundreds. Like 20% guy at $9,200. I don't know if we can even get there with Aaron Wise. No good. I couldn't get there on a plus 125 bet on DraftKings. I think we're also going to fade him. 20% owned. Sign us up for Matt Kuchar. I don't think nearly as many people are going to click Matt Kuchar as they're going to do Aaron Wise. Who else is Matt Kuchar around here? He's got Denny McCarthy, people going to really play Matt Kuchar? I know we've been absolutely preaching Matt Kuchar on this show, and it's pretty much paid off. I had a lot of Matt Kuchar last week, and it helped me not lose as much money because freaking Matt Fitzpatrick doesn't know how to make a cut anymore. Golly, let me have another drink of LaCroix. The guy's driving me nuts. So we got one Matt to the other Matt. So Matt Kuchar, let's talk about this guy, the Zimmer Hall of Famer, framer. The title of the podcast. Matt Kuchar, friends, finished 8th last week at the Genesis Invitational. He finished 8th last week and gained 4.5 strokes more than when he finished 7th at the Sony, because that's just how good the field was. So he finished one position worse than he did in Hawaii, gained 4.5 more strokes, just because of the field strength. He played fantastically. He lost 2 strokes putting. Matt Kuchar is one of the best putters in the field. He lost 2 strokes putting. This week, Matt Kuchar, he is going to be on our card at 28-1, and he's been playing fantastic golf. He comes to a golf course that he played last year. I think he finished like 17th in 2011. That's how long this guy's been around for. He's got no course history here, and that's okay. He plays medium golf course as well. He is a around the green savant. The guy is a beast when it comes to bunker play, chipping out of the rough, anything you want around the green, he's got it. Top 10 putting metrics for pretty much all the putting metrics that matter. General putting, putting on all surfaces from inside 15 feet, and he's 8th in putting inside 15 feet on Bermuda grass. That's what we're batting on this week. A lot of these putts are going to be coming from inside 15 feet. It's a difficult golf course, and not a lot of birdie putts are going to be inside 5 feet this week. It's going to be tricky. Also, 7th in bogey avoidance. The guy's a very safe golfer. He just plods along. He doesn't require a lot of accuracy and distance off the tee. He's one of the worst when it comes to distance, but he's inside the top 21 for accuracy and good drives gained. So that is exactly what we're looking for from a golfer. Yes, it's 28-1 for Matt Kuchar. What on earth are we doing? But he finished 8th last week in a very difficult field, not gaining putting. If he can bring that same kind of ball striking this week, ooh, baby, we are in business if the putter lights up. He's also won on tour 9 times. I'm not sure you can say Sungjae's only won on tour twice. Billy Horschel's probably a little bit more of a historic winner. Chris Kirk, he's won once. Alex Noren, I don't think he's won in recent years yet. Thomas Dietrich's new. Harris English, proficient winner, but his recent form is hot garbage. Just, there's not a lot of win equity in this field. Matt Kuchar's done it. If he finds himself in contention to win this week, he's probably going to win. And that's what we want in a golfer when we're picking him at 28-1. Aaron Wise, to me, just doesn't seem like he's got it. So, Matty Kuchar, first guy, let's rock and roll. Also, plus 145 for a top 20 Matt Kuchar. Sign us the hell up. It's going to be a great week with Matt Kuchar on our card again. Let's go. Let's get that freaking dub, Matt. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Chris Kirk, $9,900, one of the most expensive prices he's ever been at. And he's sitting at 15%. If you want to pivot your face off and not play Alex Noren instead of Chris Kirk, and instead play Chris Kirk, cool. You know, why not start with Billy Horschel and Chris Kirk? You're going to be sitting at the same ownership as, or even less ownership than Sungjae Im combined. So I think that's fine. You're going to save yourself a bunch of salary there. Chris Kirk, course history, 11th. But now, I don't know if Chris Kirk can win a golf tournament. Every time he gets close, he almost falls outside the top 20. So I think he's a good DFS play. You know, he could be that guy that finishes second, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but he's around the green play has been great. He's also one of these guys, got good weighted proximity numbers, a good around the green play. Bogey avoidance is pretty nice, all that jazz. And he's got some good course history here. So that's what we like about some Chris Kirk. Alex Noren's a very popular play this week. Look at this course history worldwide. He's got the second best entering the week. That makes a lot of sense. The guy's been playing great golf over there in Europe. This is Florida. You know? What's the Vin Diesel quote from Fast and Furious? This is whatever the flippin' country he is or whatever. But anyway, we're moving on. Alex Noren, great putter. Medium golf course scorer, great. Everything else, short game. All of his short game is good stuff. Bermuda putting, good stuff. Bogey avoidance, good stuff. Everything about Alex Noren makes a lot of sense. He's going to be 20% owned. No. Pivot your face off. Play Thomas Dietrich, who in his 8 events so far on PGA Tour has made all the cuts. All of his cuts has been made. He is finishing inside the top 40 at an 88% clip. Yeah. What's that about? Love to see that. This is one of the best in the field. Granted, the sample size is not necessarily that massive, but he also just came off a made cut at the Genesis last week in a very difficult field on a golf course that's very nuanced. And that's something else I want to mention. The Genesis played at Riviera Country Club. The Riviera Country Club is one of the most nuanced golf courses in the world. So if you're playing there for the very first time, and we've got a guy that finished all 4 rounds around Riviera and lost strokes on approach, that's okay. Like, I think Hayden Buckley was just hemorrhaging strokes on approach. He also led the field in driving off the tee, which is what we'll get to here shortly. But the nuances of that golf course can really affect the short-term approach play for these guys that played there last week. Also, the quality of field was so much better last week. So any sort of good stuff that these guys did or anything bad you can ignore. Good stuff you want. That's fine. If you played well at Riv, great. That's even better. But if you played poorly, just ignore it. See what he did before that. You know, that course is very difficult. It can make you lose your freaking mind. So Thomas Dietrich is going to be one of our guys that we have here. I had a little thing for him, and now I can't even find it. So Thomas Dietrich is going to be plus 190 for a top 20 on FanDuel, folks. They finally released their odds at like noon today. So good for FanDuel. They finally woke up and realized there was a golf tournament on. Never really got any outright odds on them because they were too late to the party. But plus 190 for a top 20 on Thomas Dietrich, who has done that 50% of his starts in the 8 times he's played. Sign us the hell up. This field is garbage. I think he's going to do great stuff if he can avoid disaster. Medium golf course scoring since he's shown up on tour. He's first in the field. Look at this Bermuda putting. Look at the bogey avoidance rate. Look at the birdie percentages. Everything about Thomas Dietrich in this field makes 1,000,000% sense until he misses the cut, and then you can quote me on it. So that's what's cooking here with Thomas Dietrich. Love to see everything about him. He just can't ever win a golf tournament. So top 20 plus 190 is exactly where we're going. Sign us the hell up there. Harris English is an interesting cat. Also, reasonable course history here. Nothing too sexy, nothing too flashy. The recent form is ugh. The guy went off the charts, though, I think last week at the Genesis. I think he almost like putted his face off, but we're going to pivot our face off. Harris English just doesn't it. I don't know. I don't know if I can go there with him. In his 14 starts recently, no top 20, 7% of his top 20s. I mean, you know, can't really quite get there. JT Poston, on the other hand, is someone I feel like is playing a lot better, and he's going to be the same owned as Harris English. Sign us up. You know, that's an okay play there, kind of thing. You know, so we'll see what he gets up to. I like a little bit of JT Poston this week, especially if we're starting in the 9K range. You could probably afford a few more of these dudes in the 8s. That's what's cooking with JT. Adam Svensson going to be very popular. Everyone wanted to bet him, and those that like me that woke up an hour or two late to miss a 60-1 want to play him in DFS because we missed the boat. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just let him win so I can be even more depressed while I'm sitting in Hawaii in 25-mile-per-hour winds. Just feeling sorry for myself. So another cheers to LaCroix. Adam Svensson, fade. Going to be very popular. I think this 16% can easily go higher than that, especially in this price range. He's played good golf here before. You know, there's a lot that you can like about the guy. The weighted proximity numbers are fantastic. He putts actually pretty good on from 5 to 15 feet. He's actually really good. His biggest issue is the shorties, and that's where you lose a lot of strokes, folks. If you can't make a 5-footer to save your life like Svensson can't, you're in trouble. So we're going to fade him, and hopefully he misses every 5-footer he sees and taps the rest in. We're going to scoot on down to Ben Taylor, who's 12th in the model, plus 450. Ben Taylor is plus 450 to finish inside the top 20 this week. He's only done it 22% of his starts, and I think his last few have been horrific. But from what we can tell, according to the stats, is even when those really, really poor rounds existed, they all happened on the West Coast. I think we go back to Bermuda grass, Bermuda surfaces, Bermuda putting. Ben Taylor's going to be our guy. I really like what he can get up to this week. He's a really, really good putter on Bermuda. In fact, in his few limited sample sizes on Bermuda grass this year, he's the best in the field. And I know we got Denny McCarthy, who's probably a better putter than him, but we don't know what Ben Taylor's capable of yet. Hasn't played enough golf. However, at plus 450, we are willing to take an absolute flyer on this guy. We are going to see what's cooking. We got Bottle Fades, Bodie Fades. What's cooking, brother? We haven't Mrs. whatever your gender is there. Welcome to Back Nine Bets. Happy to have you in the chat. Don't think I've seen your name before. We will get to Joseph Bramlett, but I can tell you now, I'm not necessarily on board with him because I'm not a Bramlett guy. I don't think the model likes him that much. I don't see him anywhere in the top 30 yet. So you're going to have to wait 2 seconds there, Bodie, but we'll get to him for you. But anyway, Ben Taylor, he's going to be plus 450 to finish inside the top 20. He was rattling off those kind of finishes early in the season, out in Hawaii, out, early in the fall. Then this most recent West Coast swing kind of crapped the bed. Let's see what he can get up to. Now, he's been putting really nicely. He's got a tidy short game. He's a big distance guy versus accuracy, which is a bit of a problem, but he seems to be okay when it comes to off the tee stuff on the shorter courses. So that's what we like about him. The bogey avoidance rate has also been pretty good because he's got a pretty tidy short game. Cameron Davis is broken. I don't know if we're going to go there. Even at 8%, I'm not sure we can really get to Cam Davis. Ben Griffin was going to be I think Cam Davis and Ben Griffin are two guys that are matched up against each other in the matchup market, and Ben Griffin's plus money against Cam Davis. If you take a look at this, the recent form versus these two guys, I think DraftKings has got a Ben Griffin versus Cam Davis, which the model doesn't like because they're right next to each other. Yeah, but if you want to play a short-term fade on Cam Davis versus Ben Griffin, sign us up for Ben Griffin, dude. Look at this. Recent form, 6th in the field. Cameron Davis, 84th. What on earth has gone on with his game? The around the green game, short game, putting, that's very important here. I don't know if that changes when you get to Bermuda. It seems like he's even worse on Bermuda grass from 5 to 15 feet, inside 15 feet. No good there for Cam Davis. Inside, on all the surfaces, he puts much better. But even right now, he's just putting hot garbage. I think we're going to actually sign ourselves up for some Ben Griffin over Cam Davis. I'm not even sure. Let's take a quick look at the board here. Ben Griffin over Cam Davis. Is it even on DraftKings? Yeah. Cameron Davis over Ben Griffin, plus 100. Yep, we are logging in, and we don't do this, but we got a bunch of people in the chat. I'm loving what's going on here. We're signing into DraftKings right now and placing this bet. Going to throw half a unit on there, see what cooks. I mean, that recent form is just too much to pass up. Let's get going with that. Okay. Let's see. It's taking forever. 10 over there. There we go. Okay. So we have placed that bet here on the first Back Nine Bet live bet we've ever made here. So let's keep on scooting down the board here. Cameron Davis, big fade. Ben Griffin, we love to see him. Christian Bezuiden's going to be a very interesting, very, very interesting play. If you take a look at hard golf course scoring, we know this guy can absolutely crush it on the majors. He's 14th on hard scoring here, and the medium scoring not so hot, but man, oh man, his short game is incredible. I played golf with the guy growing up. I've seen him do it. I did beat him in match play once, just saying. It is what it is. But he's obviously got a lot better than I have. I've got fatter, he's got better. Is what it is. Bogey avoidance rate, 16th in the field. Putting inside 15 feet, fantastic stuff. We got sand bunkers. I think the Mrs. Maniac just showed up. So we got crabs running around the wooden floors. It is chaos in the house. All good. Around the green play recently, fantastic stuff from Bezzy. We are still on his name. That is good. So the recent form has also been solid. He's not going to provide you with immense upside. If you take a look at his safety plus top 10 rating is 95th. I guarantee you now the majority of that is being heavily improved by his just made cut percentages. The guy absolutely crushes it. He makes it inside the top 40, 53% of the time he tees it up. But the top 20 rate is only 32%. I think for top 10 rate, it's even worse. So we'll see. Yeah, let's put this column in. Yeah, check. Yeah, he's only finished inside the top 10 5% of the time in 19 starts. So his upside is extremely limited. It's one of the worst in the field, actually. So we'll see what we get up to with Bezzy. I don't know. That's the thing. If you're looking for a guy that's 8% and this cheaply priced, if you're just looking for a cut maker, maybe. But I don't know. That upside, tough to sell me on that one. Upside down is Mark Hubbard. Let's talk about him. $7,000 on DraftKings, and he's plus 150 to finish inside the top 40 at this venue. I have ourselves a Mark Hubbard here. Model Maniac says 15th, 46th, and 11th in his last 3 starts at this venue, which gives him a 28th ranking for course history. So he loves himself some PGA National out in Florida. His recent form is hot garbage. The model absolutely loves his approach play, baseline. So if he can bounce back to what he's been doing there, I think he missed the cut at the Genesis, which is also fine. He played out at the Phoenix Open with a sty in his eye. Yeah, I follow his brother on Twitter. He apparently mentioned that Mark Hubbard's got himself a sty in his eye, and he managed to gut it out and still make a putt with a snail. So that's what's cooking with Mark Hubbard. Absolutely going to play him at a plus 150 top 40. I love his course history here. He plays medium golf courses quite nicely. The approach play is obviously very solid, and he avoids the bogeys. Everything about his game makes a lot of sense here. A top 40, just try and make the cut and make that money back for us there, Mr. Hubbs. So, love me some Ben Taylor. What do you think about Aaron Rai as a sneaky betcha? T5 in GR, T2 in accuracy gain, T to green and waste management, and Genesis. Just trying to talk other people onto the ledge with me. Okay, we'll get to Aaron Rai. Why Rai? I don't necessarily think I'm a fan of Aaron Rai because he's the same as Bezzy. The top 10 rate is just ass. He just cannot get. He just can't do it. He's a safe play. I don't suggest you play cash this week because it's going to be chaos. Playing cash is typically what you want to do if you want to play chalky guys. But Aaron Rai makes a lot of sense. The around the green play is great, but he doesn't find himself in contention that much. And that to me is it's a red flag for anyone that I want to play in DFS or bet to win a tournament. So if you want to play him T5 or a sneaky betcha, I don't know, man. I've looked at Aaron Rai a few times and I just can't get sold on him. So he's probably going to be a fade for us this week, actually, at 10% ownership. But we got some other guys here. We got some Mark Hubbards we like. I like his, look at his T10 rate. Much better up there. He's not nearly as safe, though, I don't think, as Aaron Rai. No, Aaron Rai. I don't know. So I'm off on Aaron Rai. I'm sorry. Can't study on that. Can't get off the ledge, buddy. Get off the ledge. We got Robbie Shelton next. He's actually got some top 10s in his 9 starts that he's played in. Very good on approach. Off the tee, not so hot. And even on the shorter courses, not so hot. But he's actually kind of accurate. 61st in the field for accuracy, which is okay. So I'm not entirely sure how accuracy plus that kind of incredible iron play doesn't quite translate to good drives gained. But some guys just don't make sense. They break the stats. He's great around the greens. He's very bad on Bermuda putting and from 5 to 15 feet. So that's what you're getting with Robbie Shelton. Can't say I'm thrilled about that at 9%, $7,800. Let's scoot on down the board. Yeah, Davis Riley. I saw someone in the chat. Yeah, Brian, my man. Davis Riley, new caddy narrative. I'm here for it. Yes. You know who else also has a new caddy? Is Ryan Palmer. So I'm all about new caddies. We've seen Will Zalatoris. We've seen Scotty Scheffler. All these guys get new caddies on the bag, and all of a sudden, they're just, I don't know, the vibe's different. Things are better for them. And somehow they, like the elite guys, tend to win. So maybe a little Davis Riley. So Davis Riley has a new caddy, huh? That's very interesting because he was playing such good golf, and his approach play is like really good, which is very important here. Plays, look at this. Everything about his game translates. He's going to be $7,400, 6% owned. Maybe a new Davis Riley. Maybe Davis Riley caddy narrative is definitely where we want to go here. I'm a big fan of that. 74%, $7,400, 6% owned Davis Riley. Let's go. It did say that we should bet a Davis Riley for a top 40. I'm not a fan of the recent form. There we go. The recent form for Davis is 35th. I think he just made the cut at the Genesis last week. I don't know if I'm going to bet the top 40, but we're going to play him in DFS for sure. Love the caddy narrative there, Brian. Thanks for that little tidbit. Let's see what he can get up to. I don't like how much water's around this course. He tends to find it whenever he's nervous. But, why not? 6% owned. I think people will click like other people over him. Where's he? He's in the range of what? He has a Will Gordon that people will probably click a lot more than Davis Riley. So I'm okay clicking the Davis Riley this week. Sepp Straka at 85 and 10% owned. Sure. Why the hell not? The course history is fantastic. Everything about his game screams not to play in this week. Go back to a course that you feel comfortable on. Not Kikuyu Grass, that was last week. I love what you can get from Sepp Straka. He putts very nicely on Bermuda. Once that putter starts cooking for the guy, he can fire it up. $8,500, 10% owned, sign us up. Nice pivot your face-off play there for Sepp Straka. The top 10 rates, 24% top 10. So when this guy fires, folks, he can get up there. So that's what you're looking for GPPs at 10% owned. We don't want a freaking Denny McCarthy's been playing great golf lately, but 18% ownership. He's going to a course that he's played okay at. Anything can happen here. If the wind starts blowing and his putter doesn't perform, that's tough. That's tough to sell me on. The 17% T10 isn't terrible. It's pretty safe when it comes to top 40s. But 18% ownership. We are going to pivot our freaking face-off and play others. Like, there's not really too many people. Who were we going with here? We got JT Poston. That's who we want to go to instead of Denny McCarthy kind of thing. So that's what's cooking there. Russell Knox, also a guy that everybody loves. Look at this approach play. Last 24 rounds, it's the second best approach play in the field. Guy cannot find himself a top 10 if it stuck to his left cheek. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but you get the feel. This guy just is allergic to top 10 performances, and everything about his game screams that he's such a good iron player. So I don't know. The putting, a big problem for him. The bogey avoidance is pretty good. He's a safe play, 43% top 40 rate. That's nice. But man, oh man, the off the tee game, around the green, just everything about his game is just ugh. So out on him. Let's talk about Benny On. Benny On, the Jets. Got our little Jets hat on. Benny On, Han Solo, the whole shebang. 9 starts so far. 11% of them have been top 10s. This guy's also played at this venue before. Missed 1 cut in the 4 starts, and then 2 of them were T5 and T4. Course history, second best in the field over the last 5 years. He's a very inaccurate driver, as we mentioned, but if you take a look at this special off the tee stuff, he just finds a way to gain off the tee when he gets on these shorter par 70, par 71 golf courses. Around the green play and out of the bunkers is fantastic. He's one of the best around the green players in the field. And if you take a look at it, it's 6th right now too. So his recent performance and his baseline performance around the green is phenomenal. We saw 2% more important at this venue. Let's go Benny On. The bogey avoidance for him, that's Russell Knox's, whatever. If you're looking for a guy that's great around the greens, he could probably chip a few in for you. We're looking for a DFS play, $7,600, 12%. I'm going to bite a little bit of chalk on Benny On. I love what he's up to. If he sits at 12%, fine. He's 22nd in the model. That's okay too. Let's rock and roll with him. He's also 90-1 at Bet Rivers. I'm not entirely sure if that is still out there, but if you're using Bet Rivers, use the enhanced odds tab. They add like an extra 10 or 15 points, depending on the odds that you get. 90-1 for Ben On to win this freaking tournament, folks. Look at this course history. The guy's great to cheer for. He's 90-1. You don't even have to waste that much money if he loses. Let's go. So sign us up for Benny On. Hopefully you can get the weighted proximities to start firing. The approach play is kind of okay lately, just barely. But the course history is exactly what we want from Benny On this week. Let's go. Johnny Vegas, 17%, I don't think is going to be any of the justice. This guy is going to get steamed to Centerville. It's going to be very popular. Probably going to push 20% ownership here. What you get with Johnny Vegas at a 17% price tag is one of the best ball strikers in the field. In fact, over the last 24 rounds, he is the best in the field, off the tee and on approach. When you take a look at his specialized off the tee stats, it's pretty nice. Oh boy, take a look at this character. Vegas first round leader. Yes, I'm all about the Johnny Vegas first round leader there, Sia. It's obviously going to be a mortgage play from you on the PGA Draftcast. So if you guys have nothing else to do in an hour and 20 minutes time, go check out with Win Daily PGA Draftcast. That is one of my favorite shows. Unfortunately, I'll be on another podcast, so I won't be in there tonight. But the chat is amazing. You get to build your own team as a DFS audience. You got the amazing trio of Sia, Joel, and Spencer, and then a little bit of David Bileski, who was on the show with me last week. So we got all those boys over there. Go check them out. Johnny Vegas first round leader. Okay, so I'm not going to waste more time looking for that on DraftKings here while I was streaming with you folks, but let's add ourselves a Sia Najad guarantee. Johnny Vegas first round leader. I'm not entirely sure what it is. Probably what, 50 to 1, somewhere around there. But go check yourselves out some Johnny V. I wanted to mention, though, as a DFS player, you're going to get one of the best ball strikers in the field. And when it comes to betting on a guy in DFS, that's going to be chalky. And he has a glaring, and when I say glaring, I mean glaring deficiency around the greens and putting. You can lose on a bad day a lot of strokes like he's showing us. And yes, the Bermuda putting is a little bit better, but it's not nearly even field average, folks. So you're going to give – I can't play a chalky dude with such a glaring deficiency. I only will play chalk like a Sungjae Im with not too many issues. But 34% chalk Sungjae Im is just, you know what I'm saying? So Johnny Vegas at 17%. Let's do this quickly. Order it by the highest to lowest. We've got some guys that aren't even in the field yet, but I know Greg Chalmers is. I think there might be a podcast coming out with a certain friend of mine who interviewed Greg Chalmers, which is going to be great. So let's check Johnny Vegas. He was $8,400, and let's figure out exactly where we want to pivot to. We got Sepp Straka right underneath him. Let's go. Sepp Straka's biggest deficiency is off the tee and a little bit around the green recently. But he's not going to be pushing 20% ownership. We can accept those deficiencies because we don't have to play him in a third of our lineups to get 2x on the field. You want to typically have 2 times the ownership on a guy. And yeah, look at me go. 50 to 1. Yep. Oh, yeah. So that's what we're cooking here with a little Sepp pivot your face off action. So that's going to be where we go here. Let's get a little Control Z action and keep scooting down the board. So I'm off on Johnny Vegas in DFS. Can't play a guy with that big of a short game problem at that kind of ownership. Sorry, folks. Can't do it. Webb Simpson, if it gets windy, man, oh man. I feel like a guy that's been struggling to find his game that has an elite baseline, if he can ever find it again, could pull off like a bit of a Jordan Spieth type situation where if it gets windy, you're not trying to work on the swing mechanics as much. You're just trying to survive and hit the shots, holding it up against it. Rely on that natural talent that Webb Simpson has. I mean, this guy could easily be the best player in the field if we roll back the clock a little bit. He's got the best course history here, but that's from 5 and 4 years ago. He won and played really well the next year as well. So the course history, fantastic, but the recent performance has been hot garbage from Webb. If it gets windy enough, a Webb Simpson play, I don't know. I know that Sia on the first cut mentioned that Webb's going to finish inside the top 10 or top 20 or something. So you got that from him. Vegas and Webb Simpson are 2 of Sia's favorite plays. He plays hard courses very well. The short game's fantastic. Par 5 scoring for Webb is one of his better scoring stats. So it's just a DFS game theory play for Webb, and that's going to be there. Aaron Badley, he's 25th in the model. He's plus 175 for a top 40, folks, on DraftKings. Aaron Badley. I think I even have a Badley banner. Aaron Badley, T40 plus 175. Go grab yourself a little Aaron Badley, a.k.a. Goldilocks, a.k.a. Rapunzel, a.k.a. the bad man. He's going to finish inside the top 40. He is also going to win this tournament at plus 17,500, aka 175 to 1, is Aaron Badley on Bet Rivers. If you take a look at Aaron Baddeley and you go back to the Bermuda, he is a top 7 there. If you go to Pebble, it's a T37. In the wind, chaos, that was crazy. But it was a coastal course. He finished inside the top 40 again. If you go to Sony, that's a coastal course. He finished T7th or T6th. So 2 top 10s and a top 40 in the last 3 times he played on a coastal track. Sign me the hell up for Aaron Baddeley at a coastal track out in Florida with a lot of wind, with a lot of water, and a big reliance on short game. I think what we're looking for from him is the bogey avoidance rate is second in the field. Love to see that. He's fantastic inside of 15 feet on Bermuda grass. He's a really good putter in general. He's got a very tidy short game. And he does a decent, he's like average on these medium courses. So whatever. But it's the coastal angle is what we're going for this week on Aaron Baddeley. The 5% ownership is, I don't know. Like I think we'll still play him. I've got a big hard on for Aaron Bads. I'm a big fan of Australians with long, messy hair with tidy short games. That's my thing. It's my nuance that I'm a big fan of. I'm going to have a drink for Cam Smith here. So maybe Aaron Baddeley can do it for us, folks. Maybe he can do it for us. So we will see what he can get up to. Just know, Aaron Baddeley on short coastal tracks, he's a definite problem. And we've seen his game kind of get a bit of a resurgence. So who the heck knows what happens with the bad man? Here's Aaron Rai. We already spoke about him. The upside, folks, the upside. I don't know about Aaron Rai's upside, but if you are an Aaron Rai truther, my friend, I can't remember who said in the chat here, but go grab him. I'm not going to tell you not to play him, but 10% ownership is a little steep. So Lee Hodges, Will Gordon, Taylor Pendrith, all going to be in the teens here, ownership-wise. Let's play a Grayson Sigg instead. What about Grayson Sigg makes a lot of sense here? The stats are amazing. The course history, not so much. The recent form is okay. It's kind of average. The approach play, though, for Grayson Sigg has been pretty good, and he plays medium courses really nicely. So sign us up for a little bit of Grayson Sigg. And, see us saying the top 25 was the call for Webb Simpson. So we got a guaranteed top 25 that may be a little dicey, but I do think it is time for Webb Simpson to get himself in the mix soon. The same as Grayson Sigg. 8% top 10 rate. Once you start getting down into the 30s here of the model, you're not going to find double-digit top 10 percentages at all, even in this field with a bunch of jabronis. Nobody in this field's done anything significant. That's why they're playing this week. So that's what's cooking with Grayson Sigg. What exactly about him is his bogey avoidance? Look at this. He's a very safe play. Love that about him. He's pretty tidy out the rough. His weighted proximity numbers are pretty good. And he's 21st off the tee on these shorter courses. If you think about how he played at Mayakoba, I'm not entirely sure the rest of his other track records, but Grayson Sigg on short courses is exactly what we're looking for. Good drives, accuracy. Sign us the hell up on that. So Grayson Sigg, absolutely going to play a bit of him this week. Adrian Maronk is one of those Europeaners that everyone's going to have a fetish over this week at 13, 12% ownership. No stats for him this year on tour. I think he's missed all of the cuts that he's played. Even at Bermuda, when he was a sneaky player, he missed the cut there. So the off-the-tee stuff for Maronk, I think he's all about distance. 12% ownership. We're going to pivot our face-off play. Let's go. We'll do somebody else, like Eric van Rooyen, 32nd in the model. Around the green, ball striking off the tee. Everything he's been doing lately is pretty solid. The total. So now I think Greg had a problem with this on the first cut as well, where the ball striking stats and all the stats don't match up to the strokes gained total. The reason for that is because we've had a few shot linkless rounds. So he must have sucked it up in some department to get the strokes gained total up, but it wasn't recorded because there's no lasers out there. So that's why that doesn't make sense. But I do love his weighted proximity numbers. Man, oh man, are sexy. The bogey avoidance rate is hot garbage here. So that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a very volatile EVR, someone that's probably going to take a massive swing at a tee marker again if things don't quite go according to plan. But we know he can go low. He can score a lot of points. Everything about his game is kind of trending in the right direction in a very short sample size in 8 rounds. It's looking okay. Maybe he bounces back. Maybe he doesn't. He's $7,300. You only have to play 10% of him to get leverage on the field. Ryan Armour is a guy that should have popped for a a little bit of a T40 action here at plus T35. But the course history for me, I don't think he's ever finished inside the top 40 at this venue. So I was out on that. If you're looking for a bit of a 6K punt, Ryan Armour's your guy. He's just going to make the cut for you, I think. Sign us up for Ryan Armour there. Minwoo Lee, all the way down here, doesn't have necessarily any good stats on the PGA Tour, so he's kind of down in the model. But if you take a look at his recent play around the world, it's scintillating. Unbelievable stuff. He's $9,400, 22% owned. Pivot your face off. Go to A, Matt Kuchar. Go to A, Billy Horschel. Go to A, Thomas Dietrich. Go to A, Chris Kirk. Minwoo, who knows? Who the heck knows what he's going to get up to this week? Could be great, could be bad. 22% of the field might be out of luck if he misses the cut. Pivot your face off. Chris Stroud, folks. Chris Stroud, the proud crowd of Chris Stroud. $6,200, 1% owned, plus $275 on DraftKings for a top 40. Let's find his banner and throw it up here. Chris Stroud, T40 plus 275 on DraftKings. What about Chris Stroud is the model enjoying for a $6,200 golfer to sneak? He's the first 6K guy that we have in the model. And, no, it was Ryan Armour. But $6,200 is pretty affordable at a 10th in the model in approach play over the last 24 rounds. And that's the last 14 with ShotLink. Specific off the tee stuff, fantastic. Look, his distance is the biggest issue. Accuracy, not too bad. But when he gets on his shorter courses, he is 28th in specialized driving off the tee on par 70, par 71s that are shorter than 7,200 yards. Sign us up for that. What about it? What else about his game? Around the green play, he's a bit sketchy when it comes to the short game, but the approach play has been very good lately. Very nicely. Gets on a course that we really like him on. Nice and short. Course history is, I think, average here. So we'll see what he can get up to. I think he's a great play. Pivots, $6,200 with iron play this good. Yeah, why the hell not take a shot at someone that's $6,200 with a top 10 metric at one of the most important metrics there is? And we've seen that his weighted proximity numbers are typically very good. This is baseline stuff, 30th in the field. So we like that he's very good from 125 to 200. And the specialized stuff is also top 30. So for a top 40, we've got a top 10, a top 30, and a top 30 for three very important stats. What his putter does, we don't know. But this guy's going to plus 275 for a top 40. Sign us the heck up for that. And that concludes the bets part of this. We had a question about Joseph Bramlett. I'm not even going to... Oh, no. We're not done with the bets yet. We have one more. And I'm not entirely sure why old Hayden Buckley is all the way down here. In the model doesn't like him. What does the model not like? Well, the model doesn't like 15% of the model, remember, was around the green play and putting. We had some important putting stats. Got 27% of the model. A quarter of it was for short game. So that's what, Buckley's biggest problem is the short game. And that's all baseline stuff. Even recently, it's not too shabby. It's not too good, sorry. 94th in the field in last 24 rounds around the green play. But Hayden Buckley is the 10th best strokes gainer off the tee in the world over the last 6 months. And I'll repeat that. Hayden Buckley off the tee is the 10th best driver of the golf ball in the world. There's Joaquin Niemann involved in those metrics. There's Dustin Johnson involved in those metrics. Hayden Buckley is the 10th best driver of the golf ball in the world. He's the best driver of the golf ball in this field. There's water everywhere off the tee. He's extremely accurate. His good drives gained are fantastic, and he's got decent distance. So he's not going to be having to crank it out there and rely, like he can easily hit driver in the fairway when he needs to. And on his special off the tee metrics, he's third in the field. So everything about off the tee for him sets him up for success at this venue so very nicely. His approach play, he lost a bunch of approach play scoring at Genesis in the 14 rounds. So 2 out of his 14 were at Genesis, and I think he lost like 2 per round. He hit He missed a lot of greens too. So it was just a very difficult course for a guy that I think played it for the first time. So we're okay just ignoring the recent approach play. His weighted proximity numbers are 29th in the field from 125 to 200. Sign us up for that. But the biggest thing is he going to have so much momentum off the tee if he can drive the way we expect him to. At 65 to 1, Hayden Buckley can win this freaking tournament, folks. He can absolutely win this thing. He's the best driver in the field. He's 13% owned at $6,100. So maybe we'll eat a little bit of chalk in the $7,000 range versus the $9K, $10K range. But we love him, yeah. We absolutely love him. The recent performance, look at this. In the last 14 rounds, he's got the 9th best strokes gained total. So everything about his game has been trending. He almost won at Sony, another coastal shorter course. Not as much punishment off the tee. But he led the field at the Genesis last week in driving. What on earth? So if we can get that performance from him this week, and the rest of the game falls into line, 65 to 1 is a very affordable price for this guy. So I love Hayden Buckley this week. He's one of my favorite plays. I really love him. And the model doesn't necessarily like the short game, but we know that can change on a heartbeat. And if you're looking for a winner and he has a good rounded green game that week, then we are in business because he's one of the best drivers in the world. And to me, that's just amazing for someone that just completely changed his game in college. Like the guy's hardly been playing golf for that long. So it's incredible. Let's find Joseph Bramlett but I did want to mention Tyson Alexander before we get there. And the two Cootie brothers as well, especially Parker. I think is the other brother's name. Parker Cootie. Just made the Monday qualifier, so he's in the field. The Cootie brothers can do some stuff. It's a weird name, but I think a lot of people might be clicking on the Pearson. We're going to go Parker a little bit. I don't think he's in the model yet because we didn't know he was in the field. Austin Smotherman's also out the field. Parker Cootie. And then Tyson Alexander around the greens is very tidy. Plays hard golf courses, the 20th best in the field. Very tidy around the greens baseline. Very good putter baseline-wise. 27th in the field on Bermuda putting inside 15 feet. And his bogey avoidance is 41st. We saw him rattle off a bunch of stuff early in the fall. I think once at the Cadence Bank Houston Open, finished like top 5. So when things get tough and difficult, Tyson Alexander's your guy. The off the tee stuff for him, 86th, the accuracy and stuff is not so hot. He's a distance dude, but he plays okay when it comes to, he doesn't have that many rounds, I don't think, on these kind of courses anyway. But his short game is fantastic, and that's what we're looking for at this venue. So we like ourselves some Tyson Alexander. A little Charlie Hoffman action has never hurt anyone too much. Look at this. Specializes off the tee, 28th. Even though he's got a lot of distance, he still does pretty well on these kind of courses. Around the green play and putting has always been his biggest Achilles heel. If you're willing to gamble a little bit on that, take yourself a Charlie Hoffman flyer. Let's take a look here. Here's Joseph Bramlett, $7,500. People must like him, just like S.H. Kim. S.H. Kim's game, the putting. Everyone loves some good bunker play, some good putting from S.H. Kim. So I guess that's what 9% at $7,400 is going to be worth. Joseph Bramlett. Let's take a look here. Ball striking, last 24 rounds. He's 4th in the field. Love to see that from Jay Brome. He's a distance guy. But even with that distance and a lack of accuracy, he's 39th in the field on specialized off the tee there, specific off the tee. The weighted proximity numbers is 35th, 34th. The putting is a problem for him. So that's the thing. So that's you're going to be taking a gamble on a guy with one of the worst putters in the field. Easily, like baseline-wise and recently. So that's what's going on with Jay Bramlett. 12% of people are going to take that gamble, though. Let's take a look there. I'm not entirely sure if you want to pull the trigger on a guy that's going to be that chalky with, like I said, a big deficiency like that. If he was just going to be doing 5% ownership, maybe we go there. But 12%, I don't know. Especially 12% ownership, 4% T10 rate. I don't know. The recent ball striking, though, how can you pass that up? The guy has been scintillating. So That's what you're going to get there. I don't know how much he's going to be gaining off the tee without his distance. Is he yeah, he's a distance guy. I mean, he's extremely long. So yeah, I don't know. Does that answer your question? You tell me. Zach Johnson's an interesting cat. If you're looking for a guy with some tidy short game and can kind of dominate, if you pretend like this is John Deere with a lot more water, sign us up for Zach Johnson. Let's take a look a little further down the board. Your Austin Cook is one of my favorite. Look at the 16th, $6,500, 16th in approach play. Let's see what he can get up to. And nothing is like glaringly bad for him. He's off the tee stuff. He's 137th in the field because he's 137th in distance. We know we don't need a lot of distance here. And I don't think he's played a lot of these shorter courses yet. So I'm not going to necessarily weigh too much into that metric there, but his accuracy is really good. So hopefully he can get some good drives figured out. His approach play is really, really good. He's pretty tidy inside the top 40, inside of 15 feet on Bermuda. Love to see that. And his bogey avoidance rate is 40th. So Austin Cook is going to be potentially unowned at roughly 0 to 1%, $6,500. I'm always a big believer in this dude. I love what he's been getting up to, especially recently. He's got a lot of rounds in this thing. So sign us up for some Austin Cook. Patrick Harrington is going to be 11% owned at $7,300. Woo! I mean, the recent play has been pretty good. So I understand it. If you're looking for a guy that's a fun person to cheer for, Harry Higgs at 7K flat, 3% ownership. His recent performances have been pretty good. He's a really good short game specialist. I love to see what you can get up to there with the big rig. Putting inside 15 feet. Bermuda's 24th in the field. Love to see that from Harry. Very good putter in general. He's a distance guy. Doesn't necessarily rein it in that well on the shorter tracks, though. But he is playing a bit better. Maybe he can figure it out for us. A few other guys. Where's Tyler Duncan? I've been wanting to talk about him for a little bit. Let's see if we can find T. Dunk. Nick Hardy, 8% ownership because he's one of the best iron players in the field, but recently he's been getting himself into some trouble on the putter and around the greens. So we'll see what he can get up to. But if you're looking for a little bit more chalky guy, Nick Hardy is one of them. Where's Tyler Duncan, folks? Where the heck is he? I don't know. Is he even in the field? Okay. Oh, he's $6,600. Okay. Sign us up for some Tyler Duncan at $6,600. 41st in the model. Where did I miss him? So, Tyler Duncan, if you take a look at his stats, off the tee, very nice. Specialized off the tee, 12th in the field. Let's go. The approach play, very bad recently. Typically, from this proximity numbers, he's 18th in the field too. So Tyler Duncan, sign us the hell up for all of him. $6,600, 3% owned. Tyler Duncan is going to be exactly where we go. We've got short game deficiencies to wazoo here, but with that kind of ball striking, we can potentially hope for a bit of forgiveness around the greens when he does have those blunders. $6,600, 3% owned. We okay dealing with those deficiencies at that price and at that ownership. He's got a better short game than Jonathan Vegas. Now, he doesn't have the exact same ball striking repertoire, but he's a 10th of the ownership, or a 5th of the ownership, and $2,000 cheaper. So sign us up for Tyler Duncan. Let's go. I wanted to end the show with that. Who do we have for winners? We've got Matt Kuchar, 28 to 1. Hayden Buckley, 65 to 1. Benny On, 90 to 1. And Aaron Badley at 175 to 1 to win these tournaments. 4 of those guys, I think we're sitting at like 12 times return. We haven't nearly invested as much money as we typically do because this week's a crapshoot. So we're just kind of throwing it out there. I'm going to see what happens when I get back from Hawaii. Hopefully the winds died down and we had ourselves a good time. But that is it for Back 9 Bets episode 51, presented by Rotoballer. Go check them out at rotoballer.com. Episode 51, the Zimmer Framer, a.k.a. Matt Kuchar. So that's what's cooking here, folks. Thank you. The chat was bumping early on here. And then Austin Eckroat, before we get out of here. Bodie wants Austin Eckroat. Let's take a look quickly, and then we'll end the show. Austin Eckroat Austin Cook, Austin Smother, and Austin Eckroat kind of were all not too shabby plays. Austin Eckroat, I know Spencer's been a big advocate of Austin Eckroat, and I think I saw a plus 800 top 20 for Austin Eckroat that Spencer was on Bet365. What does Austin Eckroat do well? 12th in specialized off the tee game. Yup. Weighted proximities, 26th in the field. Bogey avoidance, 28th. Typically off the tee, recently, 10th. Ball striking, 42nd. Putting, 23rd. So there's a lot that Austin Eckroat's been doing well recently. And from a ball striking perspective, the long-term baseline stuff is looking really good. Thank you, Bodie. You see, this is what happens when you try and cram everything in. How did we miss him? He was sitting right by Chris Stroud. So these two guys, absolutely love them over here. Sign us up for those. Sign us up for Austin Eckroat. I do think Spencer had a plus ridiculous number on him for a top 20. Why the heck not? Go check it out, I think, at Bet365, or check out Spencer's article. He'll let you know. That is at Tee Off Sports on Twitter. He's got you covered there. If you aren't going to watch the PGA Draftcast, make sure you change your plan and do that. So we got Zach Parker, my man. I'm about done. Thanks for tuning in at the end here. Love you, love you. What's up, TMM? AKA the Model Maniac at Twitter. So go catch me there, folks. I'm off to Hawaii. I need a big break. It's been brutal. Hopefully we can catch a winner by the time I get back here. I'm exhausted. I am, this is how I felt the whole year. So I'm going to delete Twitter off my phone. I'm going to just be chilled. I'm going to be relaxed, just chilling. So if you are in the same boat, make sure you take a bit of time out of your life and just take care of yourself. Love yourself. Make sure that you get some good rest and relaxation when it matters and when it makes sense. And, bounce back next week. Come back recharged, ready to take on the world again. We're heading into some fun events once this one's done. So it's going to be a weird one. Good time to be in Hawaii. And then we'll catch you guys. I'll be back next week. Do this all again. Cheers.